like to call the Rochester School Board, Rochester City Council Joint Building Committee to order on July 10th, 2024, 6 p.m. First item on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. For those able, please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Second item on the agenda is approval of the June 12th, 2024 minutes.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? There being no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Third item is our construction manager update. So in our backups,
Do I still walk up to the front?
Jason, yep, absolutely.
Give me 1 second.
Take your time. I'm here for you.
Did she send it to me?
Madam Chairman, while they're getting that ready, everybody knows everybody here, and because we're friendly, we have a new addition that even though it's under new business, maybe she could introduce herself and say who she is, and then she'll sit down and talk during the regular part of the meeting.
All right, sure.
And how you know who she is.
Oh, hi, I'm Maria DiDomenica. I just moved into 750 Simon Falls Road, so I'm right next to where the new school is going to be built. So I'm just here.
She's our new neighbor and in to get acclimated tonight.
Welcome. Yeah, now we're a force of two.
Sorry, trying to find.
Oh, looks like that freeze is acting up today. They emailed me.
What is the subject? I can't find it in my phone. It was, I never found it in the PowerPoint. Sorry, guys.
It's right here. Oh, 24071 Rochester. Yeah,
Can we hook up her thing to that?
Or we can't.
Does she have an HDMI port?
I don't care. I did email it to you.
Do you need an adapter?
USB.
Can you email it to me? And it goes for forever, right?
Yeah.
For some reason it's not.
So this goes to a USB-C.
Yeah, you don't have a USB?
That looks like you would want to try that one out.
Do we have a thumb drive?
All I have is an HDMI.
Oh,
Do we have a thumb drive?
So here it is. It's to her.
Did you send it?
Well, I'm trying. It won't let me change this, but I still have access to the email.
There we go. Well, that's-
When I sent it to
It's probably so big.
I don't know. It's not that.
Here it is.
60. What's the date? So it's 27, 110.
You don't have any time.
Yeah, for some reason it's probably my email.
What do you do to you? Will that work?
And you have a USB or?
She has a regular USB port.
So then we can just copy it to the thumb drive.
Sorry.
I do not.
Anyone have a little USB we can copy from one?
I've got one of those too.
USB thing?
Amber, I just sent it to you.
Okay.
I don't know why it's not.
This is great television.
I did.
All right, so we should do a little copy.
We need that one.
You can actually put it. Oh, it's right here. So.
Like I am now.
No, it's fine.
There's no one else there, there might be, there might be a couple from our neighborhood. I don't think the people in the United States was for pretty sure they never that.
How far that we're projecting, who is it coming from?
Ingrid, did you create the funny document?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, even,
So we're completely. Yeah,
A bunch of people contributed to it.
And we
have Ben will send it to me so that I always have it.
That's what we're doing right here. I just don't know how to get to there. Do you know where that is?
Oh,
it's a new subdivision.
Open it. File save.
You'll go to,
Other stuff.
PowerPoints.
Yep.
save as. Right.
I haven't probably posted in 5 years, 6 years. My wife's had a bunch of stuff. I read a bunch
There's
of
not
stuff.
very many schools.
I was gonna say something related to last night, but I'll refrain.
Well, just do a file save as. No, can't even do that. Normally you can do any of that.
It's probably the protection on nutrients. It's probably what CIC has on here for outside.
Yeah.
You're already having it.
You're like, by the time you come back home, you're not even that anymore.
Or is one of you able to send me that document?
You're 1 year.
Oh, wait, we'll get rid of that.
There you are.
Okay. Oh, sorry. File save as. No, I won't.
If you send it to me, I can forward it to Jim and then he can just project it on.
Are you getting
I
all
know.
this?
So normally I write.
I have to.
Copy and save on here.
I wish someone would do something interesting, I could, move the camera.
I don't know if that's it or
You
not.
could tell some old jokes.
That would be good.
Oh, good point. Everybody has a paper copy. Let's look at the paper.
What? Come
No?
on, it's 2024.
Wow.
Paper's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, we gotta do it. I can,
Yeah.
actually, do I have it?
If they don't see it, they don't believe it.
Yeah, I couldn't find it on mine either.
Do we have it?
What's that?
I can give mine away. Who needs one?
And that's, yes.
He already has one.
Oh, okay, then we're good.
If you need it, I can give it up.
I think we're good.
No, I wanted one for you. I didn't know you had one.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So I don't know how you access like this thing.
I learned to do what I need to do and I can't have trouble.
That's what I got to do with that document. See, there's a lag too. And this one, your securities, I think, are.
That'll work.
Yep.
Save the data.
Yeah.
I guess I gotta step in.
Scan all the way to the bottom.
Oh, there you go.
My deleted
Yes.
emails.
Oh, you did?
How's your battery? All right, thank you.
Okay.
All right, so construction update, since we last met. When we last met, I believe we just started the demolition of the site. So that's been completed. The 4 existing buildings have been taken down. All the materials were removed and you can't tell they're there anymore. We have finished clearing trees. They're all down. We still have to remove, and they've all been shredded and that material removed. Stumps have been pulled. We still have a stockpile of them that we need to move off, but they're not preventing any work. As of this morning when I was on site, we have actually done a lot more rough grading than I imagined. About 3/4 of the site's already rough graded. And we have about, I'm gonna say about 40% of the road done. And when I say done, not paved, but done to a level of stone so that we can use it for construction purposes between now and when we actually pave it. And they're going in right now and just continuing with the grading. We've got 2 of the 4 primary corners of the building laid out, the 2 of the, I believe would be the south and the 2 on the gym end. And then we're continuing forward. We are currently on track to start digging for the foundations next week, and we are looking to start pouring concrete the week after that. So we are catching right back up to where we should be on schedule. Other than that, we found another well, so we've decommissioned 3 wells. I think we've cleared enough of the site that we have no more to find. So those are done, closed, and documentation's been provided. And then buyout, we are about 87% complete. I think I'm actually up to 89% as of this morning buyout. We have to do a few more interior finish trade specialties like fire extinguishers, little stuff. And then that'll be wrapped up by the end of the month. And then when we meet next, you should see, if you were to drive past the site and you really look into the back, you'll start seeing concrete in the ground. We're still about a month and a half, 2 months away from steel starting. But the next big push is get the hole open, get the concrete in, then we have to have the foundation surveyed and inspected by the town, which will then get us the building permit for the balance of the building, which will allow us to start steel. And then going forward, which I think I've actually jumped ahead in here, I did a quick schedule update. Since we last met, we rearranged in-house kind of sequencing of how we were doing some of the site work before foundations versus after, and when we were doing concrete slabs versus steel to recover some of the time that we lost in our late start. That's how we got back on track. So the end date of the project has not changed. I have on here about temporary power being connected. We have temporary power as of this morning, so that's done. Retaining wall will be starting at the end of this week. Like I said, excavation will begin next week, concrete the following week, and we are pushing to get steel going for mid-September. Any questions?
So as the concrete is setting, you'll be doing the parking lot excavation part?
There is, so for our park excavation relays, we have to dig down. Parking lot isn't very deep, so they're more stripping the topsoil. We have some areas that will need fill. What you're gonna see is the parking lots, we're gonna probably rough grade to get flat for storage. We won't be doing parking lots until the spring. That's one of the things we do last, because you don't wanna do it and then work on top of it.
Right, no, but you're
Yeah.
preparing the area.
Yes.
Because you kind of switched the order of your original.
Yeah, when I say that, what I mean by that is we would have done more of our rough grading, more of our removal of existing topsoil and stockpiling it prior to digging in the ground.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be doing that either during or after. The concrete work's gonna take 4 or 5 weeks. We're doing the concrete walls in 3 sequences and then the slabs in another 3 sequences. So SUR has got a ton of people there. We've got multiple equipment. So we'll be doing, when I say we're shifting, we will be doing site work during concrete less, as we take a little bit of the guys away for the excavation. And then once the excavation's complete, the concrete's completely backfilled, and we focus everybody back on the dirt work.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay.
We've created kind of a nice ski slope area out in the back area. And we're wondering if that's going to stay for the winter so that we'll be able to use that for sledding and...
No. Your safety is too important to allow you to do that. No, that is what we believe is good topsoil we can reuse. So it'll sit there for the immediate future. They're going to bring equipment on the site to screen it, to remove some of the organics so that we can use it as fill. And then as we start, I don't know if how familiar you are with dirt work, but there's cuts and fills. When we have to drop the site and remove the soil, we've got to raise it up, we fill it in. That'll be the main source of our fill, which saves money, so we have to buy dirt to do fill. So it'll be there, you'll see it screen it from one big pile to multiple small ones, and it'll start disappearing into the site. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next on our agenda, item 4, our owner's representative report.
Good evening again, and we'll pull up another. There we are. Just to clarify, to help you understand one thing before I get started, when when he's talking about doing all of his site work out through here, what he's talking about out of sequence is these wings are like an A, B, C, D. So this can be going on, doing its own thing, and all the rest of the parking lots and roads and putting in drainage and culverts and all that can be, it's almost a separate whole project. So I'm gonna go a little bit out of order here today, and we'll flip up in one screen, and we'll be going over the schedule and the large contracts in a few minutes. The dumping fees, we want to thank the city of Rochester and their relationship with the folks that take away your debris. It would have cost us about $45,000 to have the debris taken away, but because you're a host town, they did it for nothing. So that's a nice savings that you got. The kitchen equipment is out to bid. It's posted if you were to go on there tonight. Those are due in August 1st. The critical path there is as they're doing their foundation work and doing their slabs, the kitchens, as you know, if you've looked at anybody in a commercial kitchen, there's a lot of pipes that come up out of the ground. So we want to have this stuff bought out before that begins. So if there's any changes. Inspections, again, we're thanking the city of Rochester. They've agreed to turn around their inspections quickly for us, and we look forward to that. Last month we were asked, how do we know we're on schedule, how do we know we're on budget? And I'm going to take a little extra time tonight and show you it's a 20-page report, but we're going to flip down through it rather quickly to show you what do we use as a tool. Every month we do a snapshot in time between Banwell, Harvey, and myself, and they produce a construction update. So next slide. Next slide. I want to show you, we can go to the next. And the next. Okay, so first thing we do is we document what we've done, and we talk about where's the schedule, and it's tab B, and you'll see a tab B in here in a minute. We update the schedule monthly. Again, it shows us what our critical path items are. It tells us any of these things that we're looking at that might be delivery issues. So we acknowledge those in the report. Next slide. Okay, I sit here and I say, we're on budget. How do we know we're on budget? Well, we have a guaranteed maximum price. We look what we have for change orders. There aren't any, and there's your contract to date. We also, of course, get an elaborate invoice every month that can be some 50 to 60 pages. We look at that, but that's how it then gets put on this sheet so that we know what is done. And then this is the first bill that we received. It was for $485,000. It's 1.76% of the total. We follow that, and that's the number we follow because what we don't want to do is be 50% complete with the building and 100% of our money spent. So we track the two of them throughout, and that's done by line item. And then you'll see in this booklet there's some progress photos. So budget summary, this is what Harvey was referring to a moment ago when it calls buyout summary. So when we have the $27 million budget with Harvey, but what have we bought out? What have we actually purchased and have contracts? And if you do the next slide up, he referred to the fact that about 90%, so of their $22 million that they have to spend, they have bought 19.9 million, and I know of another almost close to $1 million that we're talking about right now between windows and carpeting. So that means the only at-risk dollars we have is this 2.8 million, which now should be about 1.8 million today. So even if it's off by 10%, not that we're going to be, that's $180,000. That may seem like a big number, but when you have 600,000 or 700,000 in our contingency, there's room there. So we now, that's why we breathe easy, and we're going to sleep every night now very well, which maybe we weren't back in January before we bought everything out. So that's a great number that we bought that much. We can rest easy that we're going to make it to the end with enough money. Next. Allowance log, this is getting into a little bit of the weeds, but we'll let you know some items. I'm going to equate it to when you build your kitchen and you say that you want to have flooring in the kitchen and you've allowed $10,000 for your kitchen floor. Till you actually buy that out, you've only put an allowance in there of $10,000. When you end up buying it for $8,000, that frees up $2,000. If you spend $12,000, well, you went over $2,000. So some items you aren't able to really price at the beginning because you don't know what's going to happen. One is site dewatering of $100,000. Well, we aren't hitting a lot of water out there yet, all right? But So there may, if I were to be a betting man, I'd say that, guess what? We might get there and not spend that whole 100,000, all right? But if we put 100 in there to be prudent for you, so we don't come back to you and say, guess what, we messed up. Unsuitable soils is another one, 100,000. You can dig out in a field like that and you find out that 50 years ago a farmer, that's where he buried all of his cows, and we didn't know that. Well, now you've got to dig all that out when the cows died, dig all that soil out, replace it with suitable soil. You can eat up $25,000 or $50,000 very quickly. So that's what the allowance log is. We want you to know what we have set aside for some fiascos, and if they don't happen, we'll get to spend it on your wish list later on. Next slide. Contingency log, and the contingency log is just about empty. We said that what they had for contingency was $782,000. You try to keep a certain percentage when you start a project. For those of us that have only built our own home, that seems like a lot of money, but when you're talking about $28 million, that's a small percentage. What will happen is if we get about halfway into this project, about next January, while you still have time to make significant decisions, what we will do is we'll come to you and we'll say, you know what, we've only had to use up 200,000 of this. We might hit another 200,000 in the last half of the job. So let's free up 300,000 and give it to the project. And again, it would go to your wish list that you could buy things. But for now, we've keeping that as a prudent figure. You also, on the owner's side of the budget that I'm dealing with, which is about 5 million, you have about 400,000 in contingency there. So again, if we hit things where we're buying desks or chairs and they go over. Next is progress photos. That's really the end of my talk. It's just that these are, we document photos every day out there, and they're put onto a Procore. You don't have access to Procore. If any of you were to be so inclined, we could talk about it, but I think it'll just drive you crazy because those of us in the industry, it's too much information. But that's our Bible. Every morning we wake up, we go on to Procore, and that's what we.
Gordon?
Yes.
It looks like the PowerPoint cut off the bottom of each picture, so
That's
seeing a lot of sky, but not a lot of the actual site.
Yeah, we're not we build buildings better than we make them.
Yeah.
Better than we make these. Now I'm sure you have some questions, but we wanted to show you a little more detail than last month, how we make sure we have control of the site.
Mr.
Yes, sir.
Crismano?
As I brought up earlier, and now you've shown it as a possible delivery issue, the rooftop units. So what's our backup? Or what are we looking at, or what have we engaged with the company?
The update I got this morning is that they're approximately 12 to 16 weeks. So they are on there because they're traditionally not something on the shelf. So I will put things on there that are not guaranteed to be a problem. They haven't been submitted yet, so we haven't released them. But if we another 2 weeks to submit them, say that it could take 2 weeks to review them, we still have months of extra time. So they're not going to be an issue of getting here in time.
Yes, sir.
I had another question, if that's done.
Yeah.
So at the last meeting, there was a mention of, I think it's for the sewer connection, Ida Circle.
Yep.
How is that faring? We don't have an answer on that yet.
In fact, if you don't mind, Madam Chairman, can our neighbor answer this one for us? I think he's more up to date.
Thank you, Mr. Gordon. Ray Wayman, 55 Ida Circle. I keep up on all of these things. We were thinking that the road was going to be accepted last month, but it went to committee. Planning Board approved, recommended acceptance to the City Council, but when it went to Public Works Building Committee, some of us residences wanted some things fixed from the developer, so that's delayed things. Supposedly the city is working with the developer to fix these issues for the residents. There's no timeline, everything is just pending right now to see what the city can work out with the developers. Sorry to have blown the thing up, but the homeowners there need to watch out for their own interests as well. But we know you need that road, and the city knows it as well. So Mr. Mayor is working on things, and the city committee, council and city committees are working on things as well. So sorry for the delay, but no date.
If I could follow up, yeah. So my question was, in terms of your timeline, like, is there an end date by which you need to know the answer to that?
I'll answer it, and then I'm always happy to have Harvey overrule me. I would believe that we could wait as long as next spring. We don't want to, but it's not something we have to button up this fall.
So this is the road on the north
This
side
is
of
the,
property?
this is the right-of-way that we're trying to, that we're getting. We've been assured that all the details will be worked out, but again, basically you're saying, what's our stop and go, that if we don't work out the details, I would say it would be next spring, March, April, that we'd have to say, okay, all bets are off, we need to go out to the main road and not go through Ida Circle. But I look to Harvey to,
Let's push for January. We wouldn't be paving in April because you can't, it's too cold to pave until April once you hit winter. If we push to January, that gives us a couple months of cushion in it in case things don't get resolved. And worst case, I'd have to stop and review what that right away does for emergency access. But if it doesn't impact emergency access, we can finish the building and just leave that side of the property for afterwards. But I have to double check that with emergency services.
and from the school standpoint, it's really a dollars issue. If we can go out Ida Circle, we save a lot of money, so that's why it's worth the waiting. But I think, and with Mr. Mayor here maybe next month, and putting a little tightening up of the issue, it would be nice to have it all put to bed by September, October, November. But you're asking, without that knowledge, we could wait till spring, but then at that point, we got to say no. Spend the money and go out to the main road. So we will have you sewer, we can go out to the main road.
It will be a subject of the Public Works Committee next week.
Yep. Okay.
I got a few more pictures I'd like to show you, just.
Okay, Eddie, you done with, I'll sit down and go from there.
Everyone else set with Mr. Bristol? All right, thank you.
So-
Mr.
Thank you
Bristol.
all.
Major Heater, our ROTC leader, has, I asked him to fly a drone for me once a week to take some pictures. And I haven't had time to upload them to Procore yet, so that's why they weren't in tonight's regular presentation. But, so everybody I've shown these to, come on, is really impressed at how crisp the lines are. Where we were supposed to stop, we stopped. There's nothing over the edge. Everything's going just the way it's supposed to.
If any of you are curious, and again, I'm saying, Harvey eventually will put a gate up out front because we don't want folks, especially when we're digging the foundations, to drive out there and let kids out of the car and they fall in the hole. But you are all adults and professionals, so if you want to sneak out there this weekend, he didn't hear this, but this weekend would be a good time to go to the site. It's probably as safe as it's going to be. Then after that, we're going to start tightening it up a little bit, and we give you private tours. But if any of you are anxious, it's worth a ride out there because it's looking really nice.
If you want to officially visit the site without knowledge, please contact me.
Right.
It's a safety issue, I don't want anybody getting hurt. If I don't know you're there, I can't do anything about it, but I'm happy to bring people through. And I'd say call me instead of Paul, because Superintendent Paul's busy building the building.
The site is looking really nice.
Yeah.
Like I said, we didn't get out of our boundaries, where they told us to put silt fences up, they're up. We stopped cutting trees right at the line. Nothing went over the other side. It all looks real nice.
If anyone here is familiar with SUR, who's our site contractor, they're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Very good job.
All right.
Next item on our agenda is other. Does anyone have anything under other?
I just wanted to ask, maybe it's a follow-up on the last one, but is there any plan for a group site walk out there, or a groundbreaking,
So we were waiting on the foundation, if I'm correct, we're waiting for the cement to be poured, or for the
Any time
foundation
now.
to be dug?
We didn't want to do a groundbreaking, of course, June 1st, because then you're looking out there and you're seeing. But now, anytime now would be good for you, Madam Chairman, to call your troops together. And we will give tours anytime you want, and we do find that probably 4 times between now and the end of the project will be at least 4 times. But you're welcome anytime to call us, and we'll set up a group tour and meet at meet half hour ahead of time down there,
Yeah,
walk
so
you around.
our next meeting is Wednesday, August 14th. Would we want to go at 5 o'clock and do a groundbreaking ceremony and then have a press release? Would that work?
From an optics point of view,
Yeah.
we will be starting steel at the next meeting. So
Okay.
it's gonna look kind of funny to be digging the shovel in the ground with the steel right behind you, so that probably
Okay.
works out better.
Sooner.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if you wanted to be there next week, we're gonna start digging for real next week, and you guys can actually put the shovel in the ground and not have any holes around you.
Well, August 16th, you won't have steel.
August, we won't, what I'm saying is, if you do it August 16th, that's better than waiting one
Oh.
more month.
I-
Come
When
mid-September.
it woofed over here, I didn't hear it that way.
If
Okay.
you wait to the following meeting, we're gonna have steel going up.
So you want to go next month in August, is what we're saying, before the JBC.
oh, okay. So the 14th, there's no steel. The
No,
14th.
mid-September is when the steel starts,
Oh,
so,
okay.
so when you go, at August 16th, we'll have concrete started but not finished. So there'll be areas that are not, foundations not poured. If
Okay.
you want to go sooner than that, we can do it before concrete starts, but that would be the next week or so.
All right. What are your thoughts?
I think August
Next
is
meeting's
fine.
good. Next meeting's good.
Okay, so why don't we plan on meeting on site at 5 PM on Wednesday, August 14th. We'll start on site at 5 PM, and then we'll come here for a meeting at 6.
Can I make a couple
Yes.
requests?
Yep.
Everyone who's going to attend needs to have closed-toe shoes, ideally boots, ideally long pants. I don't care about shirts. I will provide a hard hat, so if you can give me a head count, we'll bring hard hats. And I don't think I need to tell you guys this, but no horsing around the website, or on the construction site. Common sense, please.
Great. And if everyone can send me an email letting me know if you're able to attend at 5, so then I can get a final count, and then I'll let you know the final
And
count.
we can provide gold shovels if you want to be account for that as well.
Okay.
And Madam Chair, just to advise you, one thing you might want to talk about internally is who is going to be at that groundbreaking, because some schools go as elaborate as to have your state representatives. Does executive council come? Does the governor come? That's all for you to say how much of a hoopla you want it to be, but think about that as to how wide-ranging you want it. Certainly your local legislators, type of thing.
Great. All right. Okay. I'll work with our leadership on those details. All right, next item, as long as no one has anything else under other, we'll move on to item 6, which is public comment. Those from the public wishing to address the committee, please step forward, state your name, address, and limit your comment to 5 minutes.
Why is everybody looking at me? Ray Wayman, 55 Ida Circle. It's positive news this time. You're right, the SUR construction goes right up to the line, does everything nice, crisp, and clean. They've helped me out a little bit, so I appreciate that. Thank you very much. They're doing a fantastic work over there. It's amazing how fast they cleared that lot, doing the grade, and they're really professionals over there. Nice crew, I've talked to some of them, and they're doing a great job. I appreciate you guys putting up with my negative comments, so here's some positive things. Sorry for blowing up the road acceptance, but you know, we'll get there eventually. And if you want more drone photos, I post them generally on Facebook or on my YouTube channel, Raymond Wayman. It's kind of a fun thing to do and see the progression of the site. So you're welcome to look at them. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public wishing to address the committee? Okay, I'll close public comment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second? There being a motion and a second, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.